Right friends, welcome back to lecture part of 53rd week. This is the last week of 2015 and look at the highlights. Terror attack on Air Force base in Pathankot. Unfortunate incident, 7 security personnel lost their lives. Then it raises pertinent question whenever any dialogue process started between India and Pakistan, whether the Pakistan government is taking Pakistani army on board or not. That is the pertinent question we are going to discuss. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs clears amended Technology Upgradation Fund scheme. This is for the textile sector. We are going to discuss other cabinet decisions also. Look into the other issue, taxpayers with annual income of above rupees 10 lakhs will not get subsidy on LPG. If you look at the events around the world, execution of a Shia cleric in Saudi Arabia, the world almost divided on Shia and Sunni lines after this incident, and with the execution of Shia cleric, we are going to discuss what will happen to the peace process in Syria and Yemen. If you look at banking and economy events, Kelkar Committee recommendations on public-private partnership model of infrastructure development. We are going to discuss what is the need for Kelkar Committee and what are the important recommendations of Kelkar Committee. Look at the other event, Committee on Medium-Term Path on Financial Inclusion headed by Executive Director of Reserve Bank of India, Deepak Mohanty, and landmark recommendation he made, substitute interest subvention with agricultural insurance for farmers, and we are going to discuss about other recommendations of Deepak Mohanty Committee. If you look at the first and the important event, terror attack on Air Force base in Pathankot. You may ask, where is Pathankot? Pathankot is situated in Punjab, but at the border of adjoining Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. That is the key location for these 3 states, Punjab, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. Please look into this picture. Here one Air Force base is situated, extending to a vast area of around 1200 hectares as per the news reports, and recently terrorists struck at Air Force base in Pathankot and unfortunately 7 security personnel lost their lives, which include the senior NSG officer Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan Kumar, and all the 6 terrorists were killed in the attack, and this is situated about 35 kilometers from Indo-Pak border, and it is suspected that terrorists crossed the border through a riverine stretch near the village Bamiyal. So we are going to discuss the aspects with regard to the attack, and before going into the other aspects, I would like to throw some light on the lapses, or you can say the improvements suggested. First and the foremost thing is the presence of border security force guards in Jammu region are very high in comparison to the security guards in Punjab region. There is a need for increasing the BSF guards in Punjab region also. That is one point. Second important point is riverine stretches. That means the areas where a river passes, and several times these intrusions are taking place through riverine stretches. And third important point is Punjab became the main route for drug trafficking through these riverine routes. So the riverine routes are to be well protected because there is no fencing in riverine routes, but in riverine routes there is a need for ensuring larger fencing, and India need to learn a lot from the fencing between Israel and Palestine border, and in fact the success of maintaining Israel-Palestine border was took note by United States of America, and they are implementing the same measures for United States of America and Mexico border, and India is also required to use the techniques employed by Israel for protecting their border with the Palestine territories, right? So this points to the situation that a lot need to learn from this incident. And another important point is here, this Air Force base is huge, and it is not clear how the government declared that the operation is over when two more terrorists were hiding in the vast area of Air Force. That is the area where government has got no satisfactory answer. Second important point is here, the operation carried out from Indian side against the terrorists was without much cooperation. There were several agencies without cooperation that led to lot of misgivings, and there was no unified point of command when terrorists attacked this Air Force base. So these two are important points. And next important aspect is, fortunately, the fighter jets Mi-25, Mi-35 helicopters and Pechora surface to air missiles were untouched by the militants. That is one saving grace from Indian perspective, right? And here I would like to put pertinent questions. After November 30, swift developments took place, because all of you are well aware, on November 30, on the sidelines of climate summit, Indian Prime Minister met Pakistani Prime Minister. Subsequently, with much secrecy, National Security Advisor level talks were held in Bangkok. Subsequently, External Affairs Minister visited Pakistan, that is Islamabad, to attend Heart of Asia conference. Subsequently, government announced Foreign Secretary level talks will be held on January 16, but subsequently postponed subsequent to this Pathankot incident. These swift development took place during the past 1.5 months, but the pertinent question is whether the Pakistani Prime Minister took Pakistani army into confidence. Because in Pakistan there are two power centers. The Prime Minister is Nawaz Sharif and the Chief of Army is Rahil Sharif. And whenever any peace process is started, here and there was some incident. This is the normal practice in the ties between India and Pakistan, and it raises a pertinent question whether the Pakistani army is taken into confidence by Pakistan before initiating the peace process between India and Pakistan. So, three important aspects. Finally, one is whether the Pakistani army is taken into confidence by Pakistani Prime Minister or not. That is the pertinent question. Second thing is, lot of drug smuggling taking place through riverine stretches in Punjab border. Government should take serious steps with the provision of laser fencing so as to prevent drug trafficking, because this drug trafficking may lead to infiltration across the border. Third important point is why that strategic Air Force base of huge area with a lot of arms and ammunition was so callously manned. So these are the pertinent questions where no clear answers are evident at this juncture. Right friends, anyhow after Pathankot incident, the Foreign Secretary level talks scheduled to be held on January 16th are postponed to the near future, but the exact date is not mentioned. Look into the next one. Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs clears amended Technology Upgradation Fund scheme. Cabinet took several decisions. Out of these decisions, the most important decision is Cabinet cleared Technology Upgradation Fund scheme, that is amended Technology Upgradation Fund scheme. You may ask, what is the purpose of Technology Upgradation Fund scheme? Basically, it is for textile sector. And we export a substantial quantity of garments, apparels to foreign countries, and continuous technology upgradation is the need of the hour. And the second important point is capital subsidy is to be given to reduce the capital costs so as to make our exports competitive. So this amended technology upgradation fund scheme revolves around two things in the textile sector. First and the foremost is for upgradation of technology in tune with the world standards. Second important point is to give capital subsidy so as to make our exports competitive. So basically this is to make apparels, garments globally competitive, or you can say to promote exports. And you may ask, what is meant by apparels and garments? Please look into this picture. These are apparels and these are garments. And we are exporting substantial quantity of apparels and garments to foreign countries. And this technology upgradation fund scheme is not new. For the first time, it was started in the year 1999, and as per the government estimate, it created 48 lakhs of jobs in textile sector. And subsequently in the year 2012, the previous government changed the name slightly, making it revised restructured technology upgradation fund scheme, and the details with regard to the expenditure about assistance provided, investments, those things I have given in this slide. Please go through it. And finally, the present government brought the third version, you can say amended technology upgradation fund scheme, or ATUFS. Here the provision will be 17,822 crores, out of which 12,671 crore are for committed liabilities and rupees 5,151 crores are for new cases. And the government is expected to create 30 lakh jobs by 21-22. At the same time, it will give boost to Make in India. And here, capital subsidy will be given for apparels, garments and technical textiles. So, on apparels, garments and technical textiles, 15% subsidy will be given, subject to rupees 30 crore over a period of 5 years. So, in the initial capital investment, there will be a subsidy of 15%, subject to the maximum of 30 crore over a period of 5 years. And remaining subsectors will be eligible for a subsidy of 10%. So, what is the meaning of this 10%? If somebody is investing 100 crores as capital investment, he will get subsidy of 10%, that is 10 crores in the capital investment. That is the meaning of this capital subsidy. So, in the remaining subsectors, subsidy will be there up to 10%, subject to a ceiling of 20 crore over a period of 5 years. So, this is amended technology upgradation fund scheme. This is for making our exports of textiles, that is apparels, garments, competitive. And if you look at the salient features of this ATUFS, the main focus is creation of employment, especially for women, and emphasis on exports by encouraging apparel and garment industry, promotion of technical textiles. The main purpose of technical textiles is not aesthetic but with a functional element in view, like medical textiles, geotextiles and agro-textiles. Please look into these pictures. Then other main point is promoting the upgradation of existing looms to better technology looms. So, these are the salient features of amended technology upgradation fund scheme. And there are several cabinet decisions. One is India's civil nuclear cooperation agreement with Australia was cleared. And please don't forget, India has recently signed contract with Canada, and now Australia will supply uranium to India. We are sourcing uranium at present from Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan and Russia, and in future Australia will supply uranium. And next important point is budget for this rooftop solar projects, that is grid connected rooftop solar projects, increased from rupees 600 crore to 5,000 crores. And please don't forget, by 2022, our target of solar power is 1 lakh megawatts, out of which grid connected rooftop solar power will be 40,000 megawatt and For that, government will give capital subsidy of 30% for normal states and 70% for special category states if someone is installing rooftop solar project. For that purpose, the budget is increased from rupees 600 crore to rupees 5,000 crore, keeping an eye on increasing the solar power. Next one is approval of modal agreement, which can serve as base format for railways to enter into joint ventures with the states. Now, modal agreement was approved when railways are making joint venture with the states. Another important point is memorandum of understanding was signed between Ministry of Urban Development and Bloomberg Philanthropies, who will act as a knowledge partner for smart cities mission. All of you are well aware government is developing around 100 cities under smart cities mission, and Bloomberg Philanthropies will act as a knowledge partner. Another important point is SINTEF for Norway and CPWD for recycling of construction and demolition waste in India, because recycling of construction and demolition waste in our country is at the infancy stage. So as to promote that, memorandum of understanding will be signed between SINTEF Norway and CPWD. Other important aspect is ex post facto approval for signing of memorandum of understanding among BRICS countries for establishment of a BRICS network university. Then approval for memorandum of understanding on the conservation of migratory birds of prey in Africa and Eurasia. You may ask pertinent question, what is migratory birds of prey? Birds of prey, the other name is raptors. That's why this agreement is called Raptor MOU. What are birds of prey? Birds of prey are the birds which hunt and feed on other animals. Please look into this picture. These are birds of prey. And to conserve those animals, India will sign this memorandum of understanding, and approval was given by the Union Cabinet. And the last one is approval was given for construction of 69 bridges in trilateral highway. And please don't forget, this trilateral highway connects Imphal in Manipur to Mandalay in Myanmar. There are total 71 bridges. Myanmar is constructing 2 important bridges, and MOU will be signed for construction of 69 bridges in this highway. And this is a part of Manipur's Imphal and Myanmar's Mandalay highway. Right? So these are the important cabinet decisions. And if you look at other events, taxpayers with annual income of above rupees 10 lakhs will not get subsidized LPG. All of you are well aware about PEHL, or direct benefit transfer for LPG. We are purchasing this cylinders at market price, and subsidy is being given into our bank accounts, right? So this is PEHL, and so far around 14.78 crore customers are getting this DBTL. That means subsidy they are getting through their bank accounts. There are 14.78 crore customers, and government launched Give It Up campaign. You may ask, what is Give It Up? Give It Up is voluntarily coming out to forego the LPG subsidy, and around 57 lakh consumers already opted out of this subsidy. That means under Give It Up, they gave out subsidy voluntarily. And now government imposed stipulation, whoever are earning rupees 10 lakhs as per their taxable income. That means during the previous year, if the husband or wife has got more than 10 lakh of taxable income, they will not be eligible to get LPG subsidy from 1st January 2016. At first, it will be on voluntary basis. That means based on self-declaration, people have to surrender their LPG subsidy initially, and subsequently government will implement it. Initially, the option is given to the consumers to come out with self-declaration. Right? During the year 2014-15, total subsidy on LPG was around 40,000 crores of rupees, and this year it is expected to come down to half because of fall in oil prices globally. Right friends, around the world if you see, The most important event across the world is the escalation of tensions between Shia and Sunni group countries. All of you are well aware, Saudi Arabia is leading Sunni group of countries, Iran is leading Shia group of countries, and recently Saudi Arabia executed Shia cleric. He was executed along with 46 other people, and this Shia cleric was associated with Arab Spring in the year 2012. And please don't forget, this Saudi Arabia is a predominantly Sunni dominated country, but there are Shia people in the eastern province, and subsequent to the execution of Shia cleric Nimr al-Nimr, suddenly violence erupted in Iran. Saudi Arabia's embassy in Iran was set on fire, and immediately Saudi Arabia severed all the diplomatic ties with Iran, which led to the heightening of tensions, and some friendly countries of Saudi Arabia also declared that they are also severing ties with Iran, and this led to division of the Middle East on sectarian lines. And if you look at the Shia-Sunni rivalry, Prophet Muhammad was died in 632 AD without appointing a successor. After the death of Prophet Muhammad, Abu Bakr became the caliph and two more became caliphs subsequently, but the fourth caliph was Ali. He was the cousin and son-in-law of Prophet Muhammad. And Sunni Muslims feel that the first three caliphs are true adherents of Islamic traditions or Prophet's traditions, and subsequently this Sunni sect expanded their ideology based on Prophet's tradition. And if you look at the Shias, martyrdom of Ali became the central tenet, and Shiat Ali means followers of Ali. The sect is called Shia, and if you say Shiat Ali means followers of Ali, and that is the origination of Shia sect. And Shias value martyrdom and sacrifice. Ideologically, there are some differences between Sunnis and Shias. I have listed here how the Shia religion and Sunni religion evolved over a period of time. And in the present juncture, Saudi Arabia became the focus for Sunni Islam, and Iran became the focus for Shia Islam. And across the world, several countries aligned either with Saudi Arabia or with Iran based on the majority of the population or based on the rulers. Right? So this way, present day Islamic world is divided, and this may lead to sectarian tensions in future. And if you look at the present juncture, already two countries are boiling on sectarian lines. One is Syria, please look into this slide. The other one is Yemen. Syria, if you see, Bashar al-Assad, he belongs to Shia sect, Alawite sect, which is a subsect of Shia, you can say, and he is supported by Iran because Bashar al-Assad belongs to Shia sect, and here the rebels are supported by Saudi Arabia. Rebel groups are predominantly Sunni groups. They are supported by Saudi Arabia and its friendly countries. If you look at Yemen, the president Rabu Mansur Hadi belongs to Sunni group. It is supported by Saudi Arabia, and there the Houthi rebels, they are of Shia community. They are supported by Iran. So the sectarian lines are clearly drawn. Sectarial battle lines are clearly drawn, and under these circumstances, further escalation of tensions between Shia countries, Sunni countries may lead to escalation of violence, especially in these two countries, that is Syria and Yemen. And it appears under these circumstances, it may be very difficult to ensure peace in these two countries. The worst sufferers in future may be Syria and Yemen in view of escalation of violence between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Right? So this is the present day situation, and Syrians and Yemenis may have to suffer for some more time in the present volatile situation of sectarian violence, as the world is divided on sectarian lines at present, right? Look into the next one, banking and economy. Kelkar Committee recommendations on the PPP model of infrastructure development. What is PPP? PPP is public-private partnership. What is public-private partnership? The meaning of public-private partnership is creation of public asset by private parties. Public asset, expressway, world-class airport, world-class logistic hub, bullet train. These are the world-class assets, these are physical infrastructure, and this physical infrastructure is very much required so as to propel growth. So as to create physical infrastructure to world-class standards, governments have no money. That is to be created by private parties, and subsequently they will share the income based on the agreement between government and the private parties. So the meaning of public-private partnership is creation of a public asset by private parties, and subsequently they will get back the revenue based on user charges or toll charges, and government and private party will have some agreement to share the revenue subsequently. And what is the need for Kelkar Committee? Because of the reason, I have given some points here, please go through them. 40% of all the central government infrastructure projects are either behind schedules or overshot their original cost estimates in recent times. Second important point is infrastructure investments worth 12 lakh crores remained stuck at different stages by the end of 2014. Why these projects are stuck? These projects are stuck because of reason land acquisition issues, environmental issues, forest related issues, and as the projects are struck, the original concessionary agreement or the original sharing of income is to be revised, because as the project is delayed, then there is requirement of revision of the concessionary agreement or the revision of the agreement which facilitates income sharing between the private parties and the government. But government is not able to modify the concessionary agreement because of vigilance problems and CBI problems. So under these circumstances, Kelkar Committee was constituted, and he was former finance secretary, and his recommendations I have listed out here. Please go through them. Set up 3P India as announced in the budget for 2014-15 to mainstream public-private partnership projects. 3P India is basically institutional mechanism. Institutional mechanism is to be developed because nowadays most of the important projects are being done through public-private partnership mode. The other important recommendation is amendments to Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. The Vijay Kelkar Committee felt that this Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 is not able to differentiate between malified intention and genuine reason. If some concessionary agreement is modified, one should differentiate between whether there is any malified intention is there or it is due to the genuine reasons. These things are to be looked at, and the present Prevention of Corruption Act of 1988 is not able to differentiate between genuine reasons and malified intentions. Third is create independent sector specific regulators for national highways, for railways, for ports, like that. And then to keep stalled projects moving, we have already discussed, around 12 lakh crore projects are struck, and to keep these stalled projects moving, set up expert panels. Then discourage Swiss challenge model of awarding contracts. What is the Swiss challenge model? Swiss challenge model is unsolicited offer. For example, if L&T feels there is a scope for express highway between Raipur and Bhopal, they will come out with some proposal. Subsequently, after analyzing the project, government can take offers from other firms but the right of refusal is to be given to the L&T group. That means the first opportunity is to be given to L&T group. This is the Swiss challenge model. So discourage Swiss challenge model because there are several corruption allegations and transparency could not be ensured in Swiss challenge model. Next important point is national public-private partnership policy is to be framed backed by parliamentary legislation. Like that, they have given several recommendations. Please go through them. The last event of the week is Committee on Medium Term Financial Inclusion recommends phasing out of interest subvention for farmers. What is the history behind this committee? The Prime Minister of India, when participating in 80th anniversary celebrations of Reserve Bank of India, observed with regard to medium term path on financial inclusion. What is meant by financial inclusion? Financial inclusion is bringing the disadvantaged sections of society into the organized financial network. They should have access to bank accounts. They should have access to insurance. They should have access to accident insurance, and they should have access to various pension products. So that is the meaning of financial inclusion, and with a view to ensure financial inclusion within next 5 years, this committee was constituted and they gave the recommendations, and I listed the recommendations. First and the foremost is phase out interest subvention to farmers and replace it with universal crop insurance scheme of rupees 2 lakh for small and marginal farmers. These marginal farmers are the farmers who own land up to 1 hectare. Small farmers are the farmers who own land up to 2 hectares or 5 acres, and the committee recommended in place of interest subvention scheme. Interest subvention means farmers are getting loans at 7% interest rate and government is giving some interest subsidy to banks, as farmers are getting at low interest rates. That's why government is compensating to banks, that is interest subvention. And Deepak Mohanty committee felt that universal crop insurance scheme, that means if crop is lost due to whatever the reason, farmer should get certain assured income. So that is the meaning of a crop insurance scheme. And in place of interest subvention scheme, the committee recommended universal crop insurance scheme for marginal and small farmers. Second important point is deposit scheme for girl child, that is Sukanya Shiksha, as a welfare measure and to link it with education. Third important point is each credit account to be linked with Aadhaar and to be shared with the Credit Information Bureau. In view of several non-performing assets in recent times, this recommendation was made by Deepak Mohanty. Then in India, the land records is very poor, and digitization of land records so as to bring several farmers under the organized formal credit. That is another recommendation, and by using mobile platform, government to push for government to person payments. Corporates should be encouraged to nurture self-help groups as part of their corporate social responsibility. Like that, they have given these recommendations, and most important is unique identification for all MSME borrowers. For micro, small and medium enterprises borrowers, unique identification was recommended, and this information is to be shared with credit bureaus. Like that, they have given several important recommendations, and these recommendations we are going to discuss under news analysis of first week. Please listen to the news analysis if you want more insight into these recommendations. Right friends, with this let us conclude 53rd week lecture, and please do join for other modules. Have a nice day. Thank you.